USD price action we got in New York and London, actually, because there was a fairly clean opportunity. So starting off over here on the hourly, you can see actually I've added a new indicator to my chart just to make my life a bit easier with weekly highs and lows. And then if I go into the 15, you can see we also have daily closures. So this is the price action from Monday, and this is from Tuesday, etc., etc. So you can like point out the daily highs and lows really easily, right? So Tuesday's high, Tuesday's low. We got Wednesday's low, Wednesday's high, etc., etc., right? So just makes my life a little bit easier. But starting on the 1 hour, oh, and by the way, if you do want to use it, it's just called FXN weekend day separator. I think some of you already have it, but yeah, just thought I'd show you guys. But yeah, starting off here on the hourly, we can see previous week we had trap move to the upside here, grabbing that liquidity, reaction down, pull back, mitigation of the liquidity block. On the 4 hour, you can also see that we actually came back and retested that 4 hour liquidity block, right? Big 1 hour engulfing and then big dump to the downside. Didn't end up finishing the move last week. So then starting off in this week, we on Monday, we went bearish to fulfill that move and continue to the downside, trapping all of those buyers, thinking that this is a break of structure. They're going to be buying down here, right? They get trapped and we've grabbed that liquidity, right? So now going to 15, more of like an intraday perspective here. So again, Monday finishes off that big bearish move. Tuesday, what can we expect? Well, right away, we had a big bearish day. So what can we expect Tuesday to be? More of a rangy day, right? And you can see that's exactly what happened. Kind of just hung around, even in Asia, London, New York, all choppy. Like this is not really a favorable day to be trading. That's why I usually tell you guys after a big move occurs, a higher time frame move occurs, to kind of just let the market build liquidity again, right? Catch its feet. But yeah, so going into the price action today. Now, what did New York leave for us yesterday? Well, right away I can see we've taken that low, leaving us a liquidity block. And what did we do? We ran right into it and moved away. So let's kind of digest and break down this price action here. Okay, so price, big bearish move to the downside. We return back up, build liquidity at the highs. Okay, sell back off, inducing sellers. Now, what does that tell me? Sellers are interested in selling now. They want to be anywhere at the high, selling, selling, selling. You can see we have a lots of liquidity here, even more here. And we're also, look how low we are, right, on the higher time frame perspective. So you can see we have some internal points here. Finally, we got an inducement high left here, 105.898 as an area we can possibly run to in the future. So we'll see. But yeah, so as for London, get rid of Frankfurt actually. But yeah, where is the liquidity? Well, right away, where do I see is you can see structurally we have a high printed, a low, a high, a low, right? Lots of liquidity tucked below this low. And you can see right to the left, we got a nice inducement low. That's why I boxed off that area, right? So essentially, if you put the beginning of the box right at that low there, that low meaning right here, that low, which is 104.553. If you put the blue box there, what it means is anywhere below, as soon as we tap into this blue box, it's a valid buy, right? So just like this, I know some of you actually took this trade, which is amazing to see. Go up a bit. There we go. So 6.9 to the low. As we know, you always want to leave a little bit for your spread. So there you go, over half a pip of spread for breathing room, and a nice target being up here. And that is just like an intra-session target. Again, you have your more longer-term targets being, mark it correctly, 105.919. And then also an external point if we end up running all the way back for the highs up here, right? 106.117, right? Or 106.200 if you want to round it up a bit. But those are areas I'm interested in price to continue to the upside. However, now we have left liquidity at the lows. Okay, so oops, which makes our life a little bit more difficult here. Because now we got liquidity at the lows, but we still haven't really taken anything to the highs yet. So that's why I'm still favoring price to the upside. Um, yeah, that's more like directionally speaking. As for New York, so London went bullish, and by the way, look at the timing of our entry, right at London Open to the minute. Okay, big move to the upside. All right, now we're heading into New York at 8 a.m. my time. Oops, 8 a.m. Now, what do we see? Well, look how we got price printing a high, coming down, taking a low out, trapping buyers, inducing sellers, which means we do not want to be taking any sells below this high. Okay, this is going to be a trap. The red box is a trap. Right, so we want price above it at the least. Okay, and if we zoom out and go to the left, what we'll do is, it's a trick I do sometimes, but if you put that crosshair, that horizontal line on that high where we want taken, now you go to the left, now you know where the high is to the left, right? 105, 165 essentially. Now we want to find a liquidity block, right? So look how we have one right here. Price took those highs, 1, 2, 3, 4, all those highs, and broke down and never returned. And lo and behold, runs right into it and trades away. Okay. I know it wasn't the cleanest of entries. I'm just showing you that this shit can be really precise sometimes. But we respect it and we break back down. And what do? We actually run for the lows and trap buyers again. Okay. I actually took a loss, which I told you guys I wanted to cover, but it was I had a entry taken at this liquidity block, which was my own fault because essentially I wanted to wait for a buildup. But I assumed that this price action that we got here was a good enough buildup for me because news got announced. I wanted price to run down, take the lows, and run right for the highs, but we didn't get that unfortunately, which is the name of the game. It happens. But now instead we used this area as a buildup, as you can see, took it, and then broke to the upside, right? So there's the low we took, and then we had a reaction up and actually took these highs. So I was actually waiting for a re-entry. We'll go on the 1 minute here, so it makes a little more sense. But I was waiting for a re-entry, and since we took this high, I actually wanted this low to go first before any entries, and unfortunately we did not take it. Now if the only way it would have been valid for me to take it above that low was if we respected this high here, right? Because we get low, and then you actually get a respect here, inducement low, take that high, which now creates that inducement low, respects the highs here, okay, engineers liquidity, and then get a pullback. That's something I would have taken, right? Anywhere below that inducement low there. But unfortunately, we actually broke to the upside. So I don't want to be buying with retail, right? Retail is going to be buying the down here, and that's not something I'm interested in doing. So I wanted this low taken, right? Something like this, and then we'll get involved, right? But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I know we actually this pullback mitigated a 5-minute liquidity block here, which I wasn't willing to take the risk of us respecting it, going up, and then selling off, taking the lows. That's what I thought was going to happen initially. Unfortunately, it didn't, and it just ran away. But yeah, that was my thought process behind that. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. It happens. The market's not always going to be perfect. But yeah. So again, where do we think price is heading to now? Well, like we said, since we've taken this high here and then trap the buyers down here, I do believe we can run for this high at the least. So I'm going to maintain that bias. And yeah, we'll see. 105.919 I'm interested in. Again, don't be afraid don't be surprised if we run back to the lows. The only reason I believe we might not is because Wednesday printed that low, and usually Wednesday prints the higher low of the week, right? So it's possible. Tuesday consolidation, Wednesday move to the upside. Maybe Thursday we get a pullback and a continuation. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at, and this is the price action that we got on Wednesday. Hope you guys enjoyed this